Hey guys, so today I'm going to be trimming up and dividing my geums. Now this is Geum Mai Tai. This is my #1 liked photo on Instagram. If you follow me there at Garden Evolution, you'll see the recent picture of that and I'll post it here on the screen for you. I absolutely love geums. They bloom about early to mid-spring, maybe late spring sometimes, depending on the variety. And they are just extremely long blooming. So I figured let's get this video out here. It's starting to get a little muggy and the bugs are starting to come out. So I want to go ahead and dig up this guy right here. I'm going to divide this down. I'm going to show you how easy it is. Very, very easy. All you're going to need is a shovel, some gloves, and a pair of scissors because we're going to also clean up these tattered leaves. They're starting to put on some new growth. You can see here there's some nice fresh foliage. So we're going to get that exposed so that the plant looks a little tidier. And then I'm going to actually move this plant about and get this tucked in because I want a bigger drift. This is such a beautiful variety that I just have to have more. There's actually a variety behind me up near the garage over here, and it's called Totally Tangerine. It gets about 24 inches tall in bloom, but it gets about the same height in foliage. This is about a foot. Mai Tai only gets about 18 to 20 inches in bloom and stays about a foot as well in foliage. I have bees and bugs flying all around me, so I'm just trying here, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get this started. We're gonna go ahead and get this one divided up. So no joke, one plant right here. Oh my goodness. Oh. All right, so this is just one plant that has kind of branched out. It's died out just a smidge in the, here is actually the original tag. I got this from Bluestone Perennials. So they don't carry this one anymore. I was actually speaking to the breeder, which is Brent Horvath of Intrinsic Perennials. And the problem with it is something to do with the production of it and how it would be presented to them. They want basically plugs. He wasn't offering it, but I just recently saw a picture on his Instagram as well, which is Brent Horvath. He was putting them into cells. So they might be back on the market here soon, which would be awesome because everyone wants to know where I've gotten this, and I have to tell them it's hard to get it into your stores unless they are doing it the way that he is able to offer them. So there is a couple other varieties to this particular one. This is part of the cocktail series. And if you aren't on Instagram and follow me there, we do a cocktails in the garden every Thursday at 7 o'clock where I bring on a gardening friend off of Instagram and we talk about their gardens and we talk about other things such as what's going on in my garden, tips and tricks. We might be talking about natives. We actually just did that as well. But as you can see, as I'm talking to you, they're literally just pulling apart. Look at that. Already one right there. And this has many. We're going to divide this down even further. So just kind of show you, they do kind of spread out like a geranium. If you're familiar with Geranium macrorhizae, I showed that one in my video a couple weeks ago. And really, you can just come in here and pull it apart with your hands. You could get a shovel, but you run the risk because of how they spread, which is a rhizome, that you might break into some of those and you don't want that. So I'm just going to keep dividing down until I'm extremely happy, which I'm already extremely happy. I've gotten 3 plants out of this now instead of just one massive one. And this one is extremely vigorous. But as I was saying, there is a couple in the series with this. There's Tequila Sunrise, which I have. It's a yellow flowering variety. It is just now finishing up blooming. And then I also have the Alabama Slammer. That one's a new one to me. It's an oranger version of this one. This one is a peach variety. I'm just gonna pull that here. Boom. Look at that. So many good plants right here. So I'll let me just finish this up real quick. So if you're looking for a Geum, those ones are really great. They're from Brent Horvath, Intrinsic Perennials. So if you're a local garden center is ordering through them or can recognize the names of the cocktail series of Geums, they should be able to get those in for you. How do we want to divide this one? I want to keep that one this way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Divide this one down 5. So we're at 5 starts already in the time that I've been talking to you. Just literally taking my fingers, going through this, and then I'm just going to go ahead and divide them again right here. So easy, and look how much plant I got for my buck. So I'm going to shake the soil here off back into the hole and get this cleaned up, and then we'll talk about trimming them back, which is another really easy thing to do. And you guys can tell just by looking at the soil, my soil is loose, but it's dry. It's really, really dry in this area. I've actually been thinking about possibly adding some extra irrigation into this area because it seems like it's having more and more problems, but I'm going to first try getting some more organics in here, such as compost, instead, so there's some more moisture retention. Okay, so now that we've got them split up, this is where the scissors come into hand. I'm just going in and I'm cutting out those older leaves and older stems. That's going to just clean them up and get us ready. This also reduces some of the foliage that the plant has to carry as it's being transplanted, conserves water, and will make your life a little bit easier. I just like the cleaner look of the Geum then. So anything that's scorched, because it can happen, especially in our situation where we've recently gotten a huge heat wave here in Northeast Ohio to the point where we're all just sweating and praying for rain at this point. I know a lot of people deal with way worse drought situations than we are, and considering we are by the lakes, we should have better conditions than this, but sadly we don't. But fortunately we're able to irrigate and not be on any restrictions, so I'm sorry for the people that are in that situation. I don't think I could garden there, but I would put in a lot more drought resistant fire helping plants in that situation. So I'm just going to clean up this one, and then I'm going to get them planted, and I'll clean up the other ones off camera and then show you what it all looks like, all situated, all happy. Well, for the most part. They're going to look a little funky now, but they will fill in relatively soon. Actually, if you can see this, there's already fresh new growth coming out the bottom, so at the base. So these should look good within the next couple weeks. So, a couple clovers here. Now, as just the way they came out is the way I'm going to put them back in. Euphorbia here. Spread them out. I'm going to take my shovel here and just loosen up some of the perimeter, because I am going to be spreading these back a little bit further as well. Whoa. Okay, so I want my clump right here to come back so that we're all touching. I've said before, I do not want to see soil in my gardens. I don't want to perpetuate more weeds. Weeds will happen, but I want a lesser degree of them, so I'm going to plant one there. And you saw how big they get. I could put some space in between them, but I'm going to plant these guys about 12 inches on center because I want them to fill in a lot faster and get that soil covered. All right, so now that we've got those two planted, I'm going to cut you off here, and then we're going to come back to fully plant it. All right, and just like that, we have 7 new plants. 7. They already look better because I trimmed them up. Remember, they used to look like this. There's 4 more clumps here. 4 more. They need to divide it down. I want to spread them out a little bit more, possibly tuck them in a few other places around my garden. And I love Geums. I hope you guys are able to find some in your local garden centers, because you're really missing out if you're not growing them. Good long bloom time, dainty little flowers, profusion of flowers. They do like it semi-moist if you can give it to them there, but they are drought resistant once they get established. I will show you that the Totally Tangerine does kind of look the same as far as foliage. This one is in really, really dry conditions, and this area definitely needs beefed up with some compost and some water retention. It's a super, super dry bed, and I refuse to move that one because I love how it looks in the spring with the salvias, and I'll post a picture here of how that looks. But once they're flanking the pathways, it's such a sight to hold. So I hope you guys have learned something today. I hope you're having fun in your garden, and we'll talk to you then.